Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another broadcast of The Weekly with me, Neff. Please subscribe to the channel and share this video with a couple of friends and colleagues trying to reach 1,000 subscriptions, and every subscription helps us out with that goal. New subscribers, welcome to the channel. Hope you enjoy the content, and older subscribers, thank you for continuing to support the content and helping spread the word to help grow the community. And so as Memorial Day weekend begins to wrap up, ladies and gents, we still do have a day here. Obviously, tomorrow is Memorial Day, so happy Memorial Day out there. We've got some big news from the box office. Now, we talked about the battle with Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, and Lilo and Stitch from Disney, but really a big win for both studios. So we had Disney and Paramount Pictures going head-to-head there. Lilo and Stitch made a whopping $341.7 million so far this weekend. The budget for Lilo and Stitch was $100 million, so already a success at the box office with a 3X. Then we had Mission Impossible 8, The Final Reckoning, Tom Cruise's big send-off from Paramount Pictures. That made over $200 million worldwide at the global box office. So overall, that is a weekend haul of over $545 million, ladies and gentlemen. Huge weekend for cinema. Obviously, a lot of the theaters were packed. I definitely want to know down in the comments, did you watch either of these films? I just did my Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning review, so go ahead and watch that if you haven't. Awesome stuff there. I want to hear your thoughts on both films, and if you did see both films, let me know if you did that too. But like I said, I cannot reiterate enough, a big win for cinemas there. I actually believe that Lilo and Stitch broke the Memorial Day weekend record, so congrats to Disney for that. I do think this film is going to continue to have legs. As I said, I think this film will make $1 billion at the box office. I am seeing people review the film saying it's not that good though, so I don't know what's going on with that, but you're always going to get that. You know, there's going to be a split for most movies. There's going to be a lot of people that don't like the movie. There's going to be a lot of people that do like the movie. Obviously, it's adapted for live action, so there are some differences, and I think maybe people were not so hot on the changes that Disney adapted into live action there, but that's something to discuss a little later. As far as Mission Impossible goes, I believe this is a franchise record for the Mission Impossible franchise, with making $204 million at the global box office on its opening weekend. And you do have to give credit to Paramount Pictures. While the budget was big for this film, over $400 million to make this film, the film was received, I'd say, well. The film was a good film. It's definitely a nice closure point for Tom Cruise and this franchise, and the film did very well going up against so much competition this weekend. $200 million at the global box office for a film that runs about 3 hours. It was a film that was going against Disney, and Disney had most of the early showings. They picked those up for Lilo and Stitch. A lot of these Mission Impossible showings that I saw where I'm at were definitely later in the night. So it was definitely a big push, I think, domestically for this film as much as it could, and globally. Globally, obviously, the push was bigger. I think domestically it actually brought in about $75 million. So it was tracking with Thunderbolts, but I think overseas this film was definitely a hit. And like many other Mission Impossible films, I believe it will have legs to carry it to at least, I'd say, $450 million. But we will just have to see. I definitely have some seating charts up there sprinkled in the video, so you can just see how many people are going to the theater at different times, and you can see the difference between the films. But as you guys know, I love looking at these bits of data and gathering the information that is out there, because a lot of it tells you what is going to happen towards the end of the weekend. And as I said earlier, ladies and gentlemen, a huge win for Memorial Day weekend for these two studios, and this weekend at the cinemas. I would say the next big battle that we have is coming up in July with the two comic book movies, with Superman, Fantastic Four, and then Jurassic World Rebirth, which is going to be on July 2nd all the way through the beginning of July on that 4th of July weekend. So it's going to be action-packed at that point in time, but this was a good weekend indeed. Lilo and Stitch from Disney, ladies and gents, and Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning from Paramount Pictures. Let me know what you thought about this video down in the comments. Also, like I said earlier, comment down below on if you saw either of these films. I want to know what everybody else thinks out there. Please subscribe to the channel and share this video with a couple of friends and colleagues. Helps me out a lot. Also, ring the bell for notifications to stay updated on more information. Be safe. It's Neff signing off.